Hello and welcome to the second session in the Slum Survivor resource. My name is David Westlake and I lead the Soul Action team. Here in this second session, we're looking at the question, what is poverty? So this session, we want to start with the question, what is poverty? What do you think of when you hear the word poverty? Mostly we think about a lack of money or a lack of things, a lack of food, a lack of clothes, the lack of ability to have a proper place to live. We think of refugees and we think of those mothers who have to choose which of their children to feed, and we think of those fathers who have to choose which of their children to sell so that the other children can eat and go to school. And all of that is poverty. And the Bible hates that economic poverty. The Bible hates the fact that extreme wealth and extreme poverty sit side by side. And God said amongst his people, it should not be so. Economic poverty is at the heart of what the Bible teaches about justice and equality. But poverty is not just about economics. Poverty goes far deeper than that. Because as well as not being able to afford the things that are necessary for life, there's the poverty of relationships, where people live in a broken relationship with God and a broken relationship with each other. This is how it all started. This is the point of Genesis chapter 3. God said everything was good, everything was perfect, everything was just right. And then sin came and shattered it all. And the first thing it shattered was our relationship with our Father, our loving, providing Father. And we became poor in spirit, because we were separated from the love and the presence of God. He came looking for us and we hid. And all over the world, people are in poverty spiritually because they're hiding from God, separated from his love and presence. But also what happened in Genesis 3 was that we got separated from each other. We got broken relationships with each other. The woman blamed the man blamed the woman, everyone blamed the snake. Everything just got separated, and you moved from this beautiful thing where it said they were naked and not ashamed to when they were hiding from each other as well as from God. And there is a poverty in our world today because we are living at enmity with each other. That's where war and conflict comes from our pride and our selfish ambition and our desire to win and be better than other people, our lying to each other and our mistreating each other. It's where the abuse comes from. It's where the domestic violence comes from. It's where the bullying comes from, because we have shattered relationships and we are in poverty because of that. But we're also in poverty because we've mistreated the creation that God made. In the garden, everything brought forth its fruit. Everything just worked. And then sin came in and our relationship with the earth was broken. And instead of the garden providing for us, God said human beings have to work really hard in order to survive in this planet. And we've done more than work really hard. We've gone beyond working really hard to destroying this planet, to coming to the limits of what this planet can do for us. And we see floods and heat waves and changing rainfall patterns. We see the world beginning to break down in the systems that sustain us. And in Europe, we'll build better flood defences. And in Bangladesh, they will die. This is poverty. This is the poverty that separates us from how the world should work. It's the poverty that separates us from how we should live as brothers and sisters. And it's the poverty that separates us from God. And all those things come together to make a little child unable to eat properly tonight. All these things come together to mean 1 billion people are living on less than $1 a day. All these things come together so that 27 million people have been sold by other people for their own profit. All these things come together to make us poor. So what is poverty? It's absolutely the inability to feed yourself, to clothe yourself, to survive physically. It's absolutely the emotional poverty when we abuse each other and lord it over each other and fight each other. It's the poverty that comes from wrecking our planet, overusing the resources, not caring about the stewardship of God's creation, but just using it for our own selfish short-term ends. And fundamentally, it's the poverty that separates us from our loving Father in heaven and leaves us on our own. This is poverty. And it's why fixing the economics is necessary but will never do the whole job. It's why explaining to people the gospel and helping people come to know Jesus is absolutely necessary but will never do the whole job. God calls his people to follow his Son in reconciling everything to himself, reconciling us to our Father, reconciling us to each other, reconciling us to the planet, and ultimately as well, reconciling us to ourselves. That we don't walk around with our insecurities and our fears and our ambitions and our anger, but we walk around at peace because the peace of God rules in our hearts. The Bible calls this shalom. It means everything just right, everything coming together in peace. And that's why we pray, your kingdom come, your will be done. I pray that for me. I pray that for the world in which we live, the places of conflict. I pray that for the children who are hungry tonight and the mothers who are choosing which child to feed. And I pray it that Jesus would be glorified and those of us made in his image would know the blessing he birthed us into. What is poverty? It's all of this. What is the gospel? It's God's answer to all of this. It's his invitation to us to work with him, to bring his shalom, his peace, his wholeness to the whole world with our whole hearts for the whole of our lives.